My name is Robin Ariel Ross St. Clair Holgate. I'm the author of Pray or Pray, courtesy of the United States government. The ISBN number is 0-972-9894-0-4. It was written in Canada and the United States, published in the United States in 2003. The name of the book is Pray or Pray, courtesy of the United States government. This is going to be 10-minute readings until we finish the book. I've had a few requests to have it narrated, so I'm going to do the best I can. Your whole world crumbles apart, and everything you've ever been told is a lie. How would it feel not to know when you were born, where you were from, or even your real name? When you do start to remember various aspects of your previous life and put some of the pieces of your background together, you are told that you are lying, fantasizing, and making up stories, or that you're wishing your own mundane life was really more exciting. To a child, this is a devastating blow, to not be taken seriously. As an adult, it is so much more. It is a call to arms. I will not rest until I found the truth and understood why such tactics and lies were needed to enforce the rights of others while keeping myself from knowing fundamental truths about my past. These are rights that should extend to every free man, woman, and child on this planet, regardless of any and all pasts. As an adult, I started to find real evidence which corresponded to my childhood memories, only to be put off track with innuendos and lies. I was once told by a Canadian government agency, "You are fantasizing. You wish your life to be complex. You are not an American, and memories are without value." That is why I've been able to trace 5 generations of my own biological family, and I do hold a valid United States passport issued in May of 1998 by the United States Consulate in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I was angry, and after years of lies with the innate knowledge of knowing the truth, I set out to prove my assertions. As the delay tactics started and grew proportionate to my aggressiveness to researching my background, the increase in severity only heightened the knowledge that something was very wrong, and it was being covered up for some unknown reason. Tactics have consisted of record clerks saying such things as, "Oh, there was a fire," and all known records for that specific year or subject were destroyed, only later to discover there had never been a fire. Another recurring excuse was, "It's in the mail," even though it was never received. Words of advice to anyone in my position: certify all mail going to government sources or contractors. It is coincidental how the same excuses are used over and over by government sources in both Canada and the United States. This includes institutions as well as individuals, includes hospitals, vital statistic agencies, schools, doctors, courts, county records, public-private agencies, libraries, museums, archives, as well as the military. Each little piece of information gleaned became a major victory, slowly establishing a large amount of secondary supporting evidence as to my own personal claims made in this book. I began to receive official documentation and information from government sources which were blatantly without merit, obvious disinformation, or downright fraudulent. These tactics began to make my job harder and consequently took much longer to locate relevant information. No one wanted to officially look seriously at my claims, or if they did, they quickly stopped or were transferred. Although individuals whom some are identified in this book are employed within the alphabet soup which we call government, such as the INS, the FBI, the CIA, the RCMP. Many state police as well as other agencies would not deny, but rather agreed, off the record of course, that something was not right, weird, or used the words conspiracy and cover-up. For if this information was taken seriously, then a consequential investigation could prove to be very embarrassing to the powers which be. To admit any or all of my personal information even in its most mundane form, would be to have to admit their own government involvement in my life. This throughout my entire life, and that civil liberties, many laws, as well as ethicals and moral concerns were violated and are even ongoing to this very day. This is my story in its entirety, as I know it at the present time. The year now, as I write this book, is almost 2001. Parts of this true life story are subject to change as additional research, facts, and our own knowledge of understanding our universe and environment changes. I encourage all who will have read this book to contact myself or others listed at the end of this book if you have any information relevant to my story or need support for your own. Do not hesitate to contact me. My story is one of a lifetime of searching for answers. It is one of confusion and what seems to be contradictions, but we'll see. It involves a mixture of government cover-ups, intrigue, murder, conspiracy, cults, intimidation, family, religion, ufology, and medical experimentation on humans without consent. All of the above having been sanctioned by the United States government. Specific branches of government are not always known. The areas of interest of these government sources are alien contacts with crafts or entities, the use of DNA or genetics in human subjects, the use of eugenics, such as the use of longitudinal studies on a specific family, say as in Webster or Ross, over a span of generations. This story is based on real fact and history, along with over 10 years of research, a lifetime of memories, and a number of perceptual facts actually seen or found by myself over my lifetime. I could not possibly remember all the relevant incidents in my life, and even if I could remember all the relevant incidents which have occurred in my unusual life, they could not possibly fit in this one book. Therefore, I am documenting as many as possible in these pages in order to possibly stimulate or trigger your own memories. I've already spent over 30 years trying to understand why I am different and do not seem to fit into any preconceived slot. I have over the years contacted a number of different agencies, both in the public and private sectors, only to be told I fit no known profile. I'm still looking and searching for the truth. The past is definitely relevant to the future, and in order for one to understand where one is going, you must understand where you have come from. This might include such things as knowing the reasons for circumstances in one's life, why they happen in a certain way, and what are the consequences of these circumstances are. A question might be, for example, what are the motives of a certain action in history? And could any motive be considered good enough in order to condone murder, even if it's only on paper? And I answer, no. Especially if that action, which was condoned or sanctioned by a government, appears to include murder and intimidation of 4 generations of an American family. The first step is in getting someone to admit that these circumstances may have occurred in the first place. As apathetic as the people of America seem to be, this scenario could happen to anyone at any time. This may indeed have already happened to other families, and unless one is willing to be counted, others will never know of the atrocities committed in our own country on our own people. Facing facts and the unknown is one of the hardest things for a human to do. I have spent half a lifetime trying to return home to the United States of America. I have been able to physically return only to find apathy of such a high degree of which I thought I had left behind in Canada. This to me is morally depressing. If America does not wake up, we will get up one morning to find that we are no longer United States or Canadian citizens, but rather citizens of the world, in particular, a one world order, of which all of our individual rights have, with the stroke of a pen, been erased. This did not occur overnight, but rather over a number of years, which have been leading us towards that goal in the very near future. How my story fits into all of this has yet to be determined, but I believe it does. We still have time to dedicate ourselves to the Constitution of the United States of America and to the morals and the values for which it was enacted. My projections for the future will be written as an appendix